The desert sun was burning
my
hot. It was
God.
noon. The kind of hot where you cannot breathe. The kind where everything looks like it is shaking and dancing in front of your eyes. The town of Broken Ridge sat alone in the middle of nothing. There was dust everywhere. Red dust, brown dust. The kind that gets into your teeth and your eyes and never comes out. The main street had 5 buildings, a saloon, a store, a doctor's house, a jail, and a sheriff's office. But there was no sheriff anymore. His name was Jack Miller. He had been the sheriff for 12 years. 12 years of keeping the town safe. 12 years of riding out at night to catch bad men. 12 years of coming home to his wife and his daughter and his small house at the edge of town. Now Jack Miller was gone. Deputy Sarah Chen sat in the sheriff's chair. Her brown face was hard like rock. Her hands were shaking. On the desk in front of her was Jack's gun, empty, and next to it was a note written in bad handwriting. The note said, "I took him. I took the horse too. Come alone or he dies. Bring the money. Bring it to the old mine. Sunrise, come alone." The note was from Marcus Dray. Marcus Dray was a bad man. Very bad. He had robbed 3 banks in the last 2 years. He had shot 2 men. 1 man died. Nobody had caught him because he was smart and he was mean. And he had 5 men who followed him like dogs follow bones. Last week, Jack Miller had found Dray's camp in the hills. Jack had gone alone because that was his way. He was brave like that. Maybe too brave. Dray's men had caught him. They had taken his gun and his horse and brought him to the old mine that nobody used anymore. Sarah had found Jack's empty gun on the floor of his office. She had found the note on his desk. She had found his hat on the chair. Now it was the next morning. The sun was not up yet. The air was cold. Sarah stood outside the jail and looked at her horse. His name was Thunder. He was big and black and strong. He had saved her life 2 times in 2 years. She did not know if he would save her life today. She put a gun in her belt. She put another gun in her saddlebag. She put bullets in her pockets. She tied a rope around her waist. Nobody could see her yet. The town was still sleeping. The sky was still dark. Sarah was not supposed to go alone. The law said she had to wait. The law said she had to call for help from other towns. The law said she had to be smart and safe. But Jack Miller had not waited. Jack Miller had gone into the dark. And now Jack was in the mine with bad men and no help. Sarah got on Thunder. She did not tie any message to a post. She did not tell anyone where she was going. If the bad men found out that others knew, they would hurt Jack more. They would kill him. Sarah knew this because she had seen what bad men do when they are scared. The ride to the old mine took 1 hour. The sky got lighter. Purple became pink. Pink became orange. The desert began to look normal again instead of like a place where evil things happen. But evil things were happening. Sarah rode slowly when she got close to the mine. The mine entrance was big and black like the mouth of something hungry. There were rocks all around it. The rocks were sharp and old and dangerous. She saw him first. Jack Miller was tied to a pole outside the mine. His shirt was torn. His face was dirty. There was blood on his left arm where a bullet had gone through the meat of his shoulder. His horse, a brown horse named Scout, was tied 10 feet away. Scout looked scared. His eyes were very wide. Jack saw Sarah. His face changed. First he looked happy. Then he looked angry. He was shaking his head. No, no. He was trying to tell her to leave. Sarah did not leave. She rode Thunder slowly toward Jack. Her hand was near her gun. She was ready to shoot. "That is far enough," a voice said. A man walked out from behind the rocks. He was tall and thin like a snake. His hair was black. His eyes were black too. This was Marcus Dray. Sarah knew his face from the wanted posters. Behind him came 4 more men. They were dirty. They had guns. One man had a scar that went all the way down his face. One man was missing part of his ear. Dray was smiling, but it was not a real smile. It was the smile of something that eats meat. "You came alone," Dray said. "Good. Smart girl. That is good. Sarah did not say anything. You have the money? Dray asked. Sarah reached into her bag. She took out a bag. It was heavy. She threw it on the ground. The scarred man picked it up. He opened it and looked inside. His face changed. He looked angry. Boss, he said, this is not right. This is not the right amount. Dray's smile went away. The bank is closed today, Sarah said in a calm voice. It opens tomorrow. I brought everything they would give me. That is the truth. Dray walked closer to Sarah. He walked slowly. His hand was near his gun. You are lying, he said. And liars do not live very long in the desert. Sarah looked at Jack. Jack was still shaking his head. No, do not do anything. Let him win. But Sarah was not going to let him win. She looked at Dray's eyes. She saw something there. She saw that he was scared too. He was scared because Sarah had come alone. He was scared because she was not begging. He was scared because she was not crying. Fear makes bad men do bad things. Sarah knew she had only 1 minute to change what was going to happen. After 1 minute, Dray would shoot Jack. He would shoot her. He would take the money and ride away. And nobody would ever know. Thunder felt Sarah's body change. The horse felt her heart beating fast. Thunder understood. Thunder was ready. Sarah took a breath. The desert waited.
Marcus Dray took another step towards Sarah. His gun was still in his belt, but his hand was moving toward it. Moving slow, moving like a snake that is getting ready to strike. The other 4 men had their guns out. They were pointing them at Sarah and at Jack. Jack Miller was trying to stand up, but the ropes around him were too tight. He could not move. He could only watch. He could only see what was about to happen. You think you were smart, Dray said. His voice was cold like ice in winter. You think you can come here and trick Marcus Dray? You think I'm stupid? Sarah did not move. Thunder was standing very still now. Very calm. Sarah's hand was still near her gun. I'm not trying to trick you, Sarah said. Her voice was steady. No fear in it. I'm telling you the truth. The bank is closed. That is all the money there is. Dray laughed. It was a bad laugh. A laugh like breaking glass. You know what I think? Dray said. He was very close now. Close enough that Sarah could see the dirt under his fingernails. Close enough that she could smell the whiskey on his breath. I think you came here to be a hero. I think you came here to save the sheriff. I think you're stupid like all the good people are stupid. Sarah's eyes did not move away from his eyes. This was the moment. This was the one moment she had been waiting for. No, Sarah said. I came here because I know what you want. Dray stopped walking. His hand stopped moving toward his gun. I know you do not really want money, Sarah said. She was speaking very slowly now, making sure every word meant something. You want everyone to know that you are strong. You want everyone to know that you beat the sheriff. You want everyone to know that Marcus Dray is the most powerful man in the desert. Dray's face was hard like stone. That is what you want, Sarah said, and I can give you that. But not if you kill us. Because if you kill us, you become just another bad man who shoots people. People forget that fast. But if you do something different, if you do something nobody expects, then people remember. People tell stories about Marcus Dray for 100 years. One of the men with Dray looked confused. He looked at the scar man. The scarred man did not look at him back. Dray's hand came away from his gun. Keep talking, he said. Sarah took a breath. She was alive 1 more second. That was good. Let the sheriff go, Sarah said. Let him ride out of here. Show everyone that you're so strong that you do not need to hurt a man who is tied up. Show everyone that you can beat any man in the whole desert when you are fair. Dray was quiet. His eyes were moving. He was thinking. This was good. Thinking was better than shooting. You were trying to trick me, he said. But he said it different now. He was not sure anymore. No, Sarah said. I'm telling you how to become a legend. Right now, you're just a robber. But if you do this, you become something more. You become the outlaw that nobody can kill. Not because you hide, but because you are too smart to be caught. Dray walked away from Sarah. He walked toward the mine. He looked at the dark space inside. He looked at his men. He was thinking about something big. The scarred man stepped forward. Boss, he said, do not listen to her. It is a trick. We should take the money and shoot them both and leave this place. Dray held up his hand. "Be quiet," he said. His voice was different now. Harder. The man stopped talking. "You," Dray said. He was pointing at Sarah. "Get down from that horse. Walk to the sheriff. Untie him. Do it slow. Do not touch a gun." Sarah got down from Thunder. Her legs were shaking a little, but she walked steady. She walked like she was not scared. She walked toward Jack Miller. Jack was shaking his head again. "No, no, do not come here. It is a trap." Sarah untied the ropes around Jack's arms. The ropes came loose. Jack could move now. His shoulder was hurt bad. Blood was coming down his arm. But he could move. "Now help him to his horse," Dray said. Sarah helped Jack stand up. Jack was heavy. His legs were weak from sitting tied up, but they walked to Scout. Jack got on the horse. It was hard for him to move his left arm. The scarred man was angry now. His hand was on his gun. "Boss, what are you doing?" he asked. His voice was loud. His voice was mean. "I'm doing what smart men do," Dray said. "I'm letting them go." The scarred man pulled out his gun. It happened very fast. Jack Miller was weak, but he was not slow. He had a small gun in his boot. Nobody had looked for it. Nobody had searched him good. Jack pulled the gun out and shot the scarred man. The bullet went into the scarred man's shoulder. The man fell down. His gun fell in the dirt. The other men were confused. They did not know what to do. Sarah pulled her gun. She was fast, very fast, faster than people thought a woman could be. Dray watched all of this. He did not move. He did not try to shoot. He just watched. "Go," Dray said to Jack. "Take your deputy and go. But remember that Marcus Dray let you live. Remember that I could have killed you, but I did not." Jack and Sarah did not wait to hear more words. Jack made Scout run. Sarah jumped on Thunder. They rode away from the mine. They rode fast. The dust came up behind them like a cloud, like ghosts following them into the morning light. Behind them, Marcus Dray was standing alone. The scar man was on the ground, hurt but alive. The other men were looking at Dray like they did not know him anymore. "Why did you let them go, boss?" one man asked. Dray did not answer for a long time. "Because," he said finally, "a dead sheriff is forgotten. But a live sheriff who owes his life to Marcus Dray, that man will tell the story for the rest of his life. And everyone will know that I am smart, that I am not just strong, that I am something more." The man did not understand, but Dray understood, and that was all that mattered. Jack Miller and Sarah Chen rode for 2 hours without stopping. The sun was climbing higher in the sky. It was getting hotter. Jack's shoulder was still bleeding. The blood was making a dark line down his shirt. He was not saying anything. He was just holding the reins and riding. When they finally reached Broken Ridge, the whole town was awake. People came running out of buildings. The store owner, the doctor, the people who worked at the saloon. They saw Jack on Scout. They saw Sarah on Thunder. They saw the blood. Someone screamed. Someone else started running to get the doctor. Jack fell off his horse when he tried to get down. His legs would not hold him. Sarah caught him before he hit the ground. She was smaller than him, but she was strong. She held him up while people ran around them like chickens with no heads. The doctor, a man named Thomas, took Jack into his office. He cleaned the wound. He said the bullet went through the shoulder but did not hit anything important. He said Jack would live. He said Jack was lucky. Lucky. That word felt wrong to Sarah. She sat outside the doctor's office on a wooden bench. Her clothes were covered in dust. Her hands were shaking now. Now that everything was over, now that they were safe, her body was shaking like leaves in the wind. People kept asking her questions. What happened? Who took him? Is he going to die? Why did you go alone? Sarah did not answer any of them. She just sat and looked at the dirt street. She looked at the boots of people walking past her. She looked at nothing. Inside the doctor's office, Jack was awake now. The doctor had given him something for pain. Jack's left arm was wrapped in white cloth. There was medicine on the bandages. There was a sling holding his arm close to his body. Jack asked Thomas to leave him alone. When Thomas left, Jack got out of bed. It was hard. Everything hurt. But he got up. He looked out the window and saw Sarah sitting on the bench. He knew what she had done. He knew she had traded something. He did not know what yet, but he knew it was something big. 3 days later, Jack was able to sit up. His arm still hurt, but he could move. He could think. Sarah came to see him every morning and every night. They did not talk much. They just sat together. On the fourth day, something happened. A rider came into town from the east. He was riding fast. The horse was tired. The man jumped off and ran into the sheriff's office. It was a deputy from the next town. His name was Carlos. Carlos found Sarah in the office. She was doing the paperwork that Jack always did. "There's trouble," Carlos said. He was breathing hard. His face was red from riding in the heat. "Big trouble. The bank in River City was robbed yesterday. The robbers were 5 men. The robbers killed the bank guard. The bank guard was just a boy. He was 19 years old. Sarah felt her stomach drop. "Who robbed it?" she asked. But she already knew the answer. "Marcus Dray," Carlos said, "and 4 men with him. One of the men had a bandage on his shoulder." The description said he had a big scar on his face. The scarred man. The man Jack had shot. Sarah sat down in a chair. She sat down slow, like her body was getting heavier. "They are heading north," Carlos said. "We think they are heading for the territories where nobody can catch them. But they killed someone, Sarah. They killed a boy. The bank owner wants blood. The town wants revenge. We need to form a group of men and hunt them down." Sarah did not answer for a long time. "Tell them to wait," she said finally. "Tell them I'll find Dray. But tell them not to come. Tell them to wait in River City." Carlos looked confused. "Sarah, you cannot hunt down 5 men alone. You need help. You need men with guns." "I said tell them to wait," Sarah said. Her voice was different now. It was quiet, but it was strong. Very strong. That night, Sarah went to see Jack. Jack was sitting up in bed. He was reading a book. He looked better. The color was coming back to his face. He looked like himself again. Sarah sat down next to him. "I have to leave," she said. Jack put down his book. He looked at her face. He understood that she was not asking for permission. She was telling him what she was going to do. "Why?" Jack asked. "Because Dray and his men robbed a bank in River City," Sarah said. "They killed a boy, a young boy who was just doing his job." Jack closed his eyes. He did not say anything. "That scarred man tried to stop Dray from letting us go," Sarah said. "He told Dray to kill us. But Dray let us go. I gave him my word by letting him live. I promised him that I would not hunt him down." "Sarah," Jack said, "you did not promise him anything." "Yes, I did," Sarah said. "When I let him live, when I rode away and did not try to shoot him, I made a promise. A promise without words, but a promise." Jack opened his eyes. He looked at Sarah for a long time. "You're going to break that promise," he said. "No," Sarah said. "I'm going to keep it a different way. I'm going to find Dray. I'm going to talk to him. I'm going to tell him what he did. I'm going to tell him that a boy died. I'm going to give him the choice that I gave him before. The choice to be something more than just a bad man." "He will not listen," Jack said. "Maybe," Sarah said. "Maybe not. But I have to try. Because if I do not, if I just let them run away, then I am the same as them. I am someone who runs away from hard things." Jack tried to sit up more. His shoulder hurt. He made a sound of pain. "Let me come with you," he said. "You cannot," Sarah said. "Your shoulder needs time to heal. And you need to stay here. If something happens to me, someone needs to know who to look for." Sarah stood up. She walked to the door. "Sarah," Jack said, if you find Dray, what will you do?" Sarah did not turn around. "I do not know yet," she said. "But I will know when I see him. I will know what the right thing is when I stand in front of him." She left the room. She left the town. She left in the night when nobody was looking. Thunder knew the way to the mine. Horses remember places. They remember smells and sounds and the ground under their feet. Thunder was leading her north, leading her toward the man who had let her live, leading her toward the man who had broken his own word. Sarah found their camp on the 5th day. It was in a deep canyon. The walls were tall and red and cut by water over 1,000 years. The canyon was like a cut in the earth, like God had taken a knife and split the desert open. There was a small river at the bottom. There were trees. There were places to hide. This was a good place for bad men. Sarah could see the camp from the top of the canyon wall. There were 5 horses tied to trees. There was a fire. There were 5 men sitting around the fire. One of them had his arm in a sling. That was the scarred man. His shoulder was still hurt from where Jack had shot him. Sarah waited until the sun went down. When the night came dark, she climbed down the canyon wall. The rocks were sharp. One rock cut her hand. Blood came out, but she kept going. She moved slow. She moved quiet, like a ghost moving through the dark. When she got to the bottom of the canyon, She could see them better. She could see their faces. She could see that they were drinking whiskey. She could see that they were laughing about something. The scarred man was telling a story. The boy at the bank, he was saying, he tried to be brave. He tried to stop us. So Dray shot him. Just like that. One shot. The boy fell down. He was dead before he hit the ground. The men laughed. They laughed like it was funny. Like a boy dying was a joke. Sarah stepped out from the darkness. "That is enough," she said. All 5 men jumped up. Their hands went to their guns. But then they saw her face. They saw it was just one woman with a gun. They stopped moving. Marcus Dray stood up slow. He looked at Sarah. His face showed surprise. Then something else. Maybe it was respect. Maybe it was fear. "Deputy Chen," he said. "You came. I did not think you would come." "You broke your word," Sarah said. Her voice was cold. Very cold. "I let you live. I rode away. I kept my promise. And you broke yours." Dray walked toward her. He was moving slow, one step at a time. "I broke no promise," Dray said. "I did not say I would stop being a bad man. I did not say I would change. You let me live. I am alive. That is all." "A boy is dead," Sarah said. "A boy who was 19 years old. He was working at a bank because he needed money. He had a mother who loved him. He had dreams about getting married. He had a whole life in front of him. And you killed him." Dray stopped walking. He was 5 feet away from Sarah now. "That is what bad men do," Dray said. "We kill people. We take money. We do bad things. That is who we are. You knew this. You knew what I was." "I knew," Sarah said. "But I thought maybe you could be something different. I thought maybe you had something inside you that was not evil. I thought maybe you could change." The scarred man laughed. "Boss, she is crazy," he said. "Just shoot her and let us go." But Dray did not tell him to shoot. Dray was looking at Sarah's face. He was seeing something. "Why are you here?" Dray asked. "You could have come with 10 men. You could have brought the whole town. But you came alone. What?" Sarah held her gun steady. "Because I made a promise," she said. "I promised myself that I would give you the same choice I gave myself. The choice to be something more. The choice to understand what you did wrong." "I do not feel bad about the boy," Dray said. "I do not feel sorry. I do not care that he is dead." "Is that what you wanted to hear?" "I do not care." Sarah's hand was shaking now, but her gun was still pointed at Dray. "Then you're going to die," she said. She pulled the trigger. The gun went off. The sound was very loud in the canyon. It echoed off the red walls. It came back to them like a ghost sound, like the canyon was screaming. Dray fell down. He fell to the ground. His hand went to his chest. There was blood coming out. The bullet had hit him in the left side. The other men started to run. They started to pull out their guns. But Sarah was fast. She was very fast. She shot one man in the leg. The man fell down screaming. She shot another man in the arm. The man dropped his gun. The other 2 men ran. They ran toward their horses. They wanted to escape. They wanted to leave the canyon and never come back. Sarah let them go. She walked over to Marcus Dray. He was lying on the ground. His eyes were open. He was looking up at the stars. The stars were very bright in the canyon. The night was so dark that the stars looked close. Close enough to touch. "Did you really think I would not come?" Sarah asked. Dray made a sound. Not words. Just a sound. Like wind moving through a canyon. "That boy," Sarah said. "His name was Thomas. He had a brother. He had a sister. He had a father who works on a farm. And now they're going to wake up every morning and remember that he is gone. Because of you. Because you thought being bad was the same as being strong." Dray tried to say something. His mouth moved, but no words came out. "I gave you a choice," Sarah said. "I gave you the chance to be something more. But you chose to be what you were. You chose evil. And now you're going to die. And in 100 years, nobody will remember you. Nobody will tell stories about Marcus Dray. Nobody will care." Dray's eyes closed. Sarah sat down next to him. She sat down and waited. She waited until his breathing stopped. She waited until his body became still like a stone. The canyon was quiet now. Just the sound of the river. Just the sound of the wind moving through the canyon walls. Sarah looked at the blood on her hands. She looked at the body of Marcus Dray. She looked at the stars. She had kept her promise. But the promise had cost something. It had cost her a piece of herself. It had cost her the belief that bad men could change. She stood up. She climbed out of the canyon. She left Dray's body there. She left him in the dark where he wanted to be. Thunder was waiting at the top of the canyon. Sarah got on the horse. She did not look back. She just rode toward the town, rode toward Jack, rode toward the place where people lived and loved and tried to be good. Behind her, the canyon kept the secret. Behind her, Marcus Dray was forgotten. Sarah came back to Broken Ridge on a Tuesday morning. The sun was low in the sky. It was the time of day when shadows are long and the light is gold. The whole town saw her coming. They saw Thunder walking slow down the main street. They saw Sarah sitting tall in the saddle. They saw the blood on her clothes. People came out of buildings. The store owner stepped outside. The doctor looked through his window. The saloon went quiet. Everyone was looking at Sarah. Everyone was asking with their eyes, "What happened? What did you do? Did you find him?" Sarah rode straight to the doctor's office. Jack was sitting on the bench outside. His arm was still in a sling, but he was stronger now. The color was back in his face. He stood up when he saw Sarah. He stood up slow because his shoulder still hurt. Sarah got off Thunder. She was moving like someone who was very tired. Very, very tired. Like she had walked 100 miles instead of riding for 5 days. Jack and Sarah did not say anything to each other. They just looked at each other's faces. Jack could see everything. He could see the dust. He could see the blood. He could see the weight of something heavy in her eyes. "Is he dead?" Jack asked. Sarah nodded. One small nod. Jack closed his eyes. He did not say anything else. He just pulled Sarah close to him with his right arm, the arm that was not hurt, and he held her while people watched from the street. Nobody moved. Nobody said anything. The whole town was watching two people who had done something hard for the right reasons. Inside the doctor's office, Jack made Sarah sit down. Thomas cleaned the blood off her hands. Thomas asked questions. Sarah did not answer. She just stared at her clean hands like she did not recognize them. That night, a rider came from River City. His name was Sheriff William. He was older than Jack. He had a gray beard and eyes that had seen many hard things. He came into the office and stood in front of Sarah. "Is it true?" William asked. "Is Marcus Dray dead?" "Yes," Sarah said. William nodded. He did not ask how. He did not ask why. He just nodded like he understood something that did not need words. "The town of River City is grateful," William said. "The boy's family wanted revenge. They wanted you to bring back Dray's body. They wanted to see him dead with their own eyes." Sarah's face did not change. "But his mother came to talk to me," William said. "She said that a boy being dead is already hard enough. She said that bringing back his body would only hurt more. She said she wants to know that he is gone. That is enough. That is all a mother can know." Sarah felt tears come in her eyes, but she did not let them fall. "There is something else," William said. He pulled out a piece of paper. "The bank owner wants to give you a reward. $500. It is a lot of money. It is enough to buy a small house. It is enough to start a new life somewhere quiet." Sarah looked at the paper. She looked at the numbers written on it. She thought about all the things $500 could buy. "Give it to the boy's family," she said. "Give it to his mother. Tell her it came from someone who tried to stop bad things." William put the paper down on the desk. He looked at Sarah for a long time. "You are a good person," he said. "A good person in a bad job." "I do not feel good," Sarah said. "I feel like I took something from the world. I took a life. Even if that life was evil, I took it." "That is what makes you good," William said. "A bad person would not feel that way. A bad person would celebrate. But you feel sad. That means you still have something good inside. That means you are still human." William left the next morning. 2 weeks passed. Jack's shoulder got better. He could move his arm now. He could ride a horse again. He could do most things. But something was different in him. Something in him had changed. One night, Jack asked Sarah to walk with him. They walked to the edge of town. They walked to a place where you could see the desert going on and on forever. The desert was dark blue under the night sky. The stars were so many that they looked like someone had spilled diamonds on black cloth. "I've been thinking," Jack said. "I've been thinking about what you did. I've been thinking about Marcus Dray. I've been thinking about the choice you made." Sarah did not say anything. She just looked at the desert. "You gave him the choice to be better," Jack said, "and he chose to be worse. That is not your fault. That is his choice, his life, his responsibility." "I still killed him," Sarah said. "Yes," Jack said. "You killed him to stop him from killing more people. You killed him to save lives. That is the hardest kind of killing. That is the kind that makes you good instead of evil. Sarah turned to look at Jack. Tears were falling down her face now. She let them fall. I do not want to do this anymore, she said. I do not want to hunt bad men. I do not want to carry a gun. I do not want to be brave anymore. Jack put his arm around her. Then do not, he said. I am the sheriff. You do not have to be the deputy anymore. You can do something else. You can be something else. You can be just Sarah, just a person who lives a quiet life. Sarah put her head on his shoulder. They stood like that for a long time, just watching the desert, just watching the stars, just being alive and together in the dark. 3 months later, Sarah opened a small school in Broken Ridge. She taught children to read and write. She taught them about history. She taught them about right and wrong. She taught them about the hard choices that people have to make sometimes. The scarred man, the one Sarah had shot in the canyon, he lived. He left the territories. Nobody ever heard from him again. The other man who ran away, he went to Mexico. He became a farmer. He became a good man. He married and had children and lived a quiet life. Jack Miller stayed as sheriff. He was a good sheriff. He was fair and kind and strong. People respected him because he was honest. And Sarah taught children every day. One day, a student asked her, "Miss Sarah, why are you a teacher now? Why did you not stay a deputy?" Sarah looked out the window. She looked at the desert in the distance. She looked at the mountains where bad things happened, where good people did hard things. Because, she said, I learned that stopping bad things is important. But making good things is more important. Punishment is necessary sometimes. But hope is always necessary. And hope comes from teaching. Hope comes from showing the next generation that life can be good. That life can be kind. That life can be beautiful. The children listened. They understood something even if they did not understand all the words. Years later, people would tell the story of Sarah Chen and Marcus Dray. They would tell it around fires. They would tell it to their grandchildren. Some people would say Sarah was a hero. Some people would say she was a killer. But Sarah knew the truth. She was just a person who made the hardest choice. And then she chose to live a good life after. She chose to build something instead of destroy something. She chose hope. And that choice made all the difference. The end.